Hello, hello. Hi, Creative Fit. Welcome back. Sore from workouts. Yay, that's exciting. Um, what have you been doing? What have you been doing for your workouts? Uh, Whenever I am sore from workout, I like to take a active recovery day or an active recovery day, which generally means gently stretching the things that I worked out the day before. So, if I did an upper back workout, I'm going to try and lengthen all of those muscles that I just spent bulking up the day before. Or, lower body, it's going to be stretching your legs. So, whatever you've got going on, just spend some time today or whatever you want doing something like that. Another part of active recovery that I really like, since we're just jumping into this, is walking. Our bodies evolved for walking. We're really good at it. And one of the best ways that we can get kinks out from doing a lot of stuff the day previously is to just go for a walk. And it sounds like you're out and about, so you're probably getting some walking in. That's the other nice thing about walking is generally if we just stand up and move around, we're getting enough walking in throughout our day. Unless, of course, we have a job that requires us to be sitting still for 8 hours. Um, Today I'm probably still going to do a lot of upper body stretching, but I'm going to be sitting on the floor today. There will be the chair here too, so we're going to get some lower body stretching happening too. And I want to talk a little bit about feet today because that is a part of our body that does a lot of work for us, and we spend a lot of time ignoring it, I guess, ignoring our feet. Culturally, they're not like something that we give a lot of extra attention to. And then in some cultures, feet are like horrible. But they do a lot of things for us. So I want to talk about those today. Dropped frames. Interesting. I don't have any on my side, so maybe that's you. I did have a bunch a while back, but it seems like I'm doing okay on this side. So let me know if you miss out on something. Okay, time to get started. And as always, I have to figure out how to make this look proper. Okay. I am sore from working out, actually. I did a full body HIIT workout yesterday, and I have not been consistent lately on doing my workouts, so I'm definitely sore. So we'll work probably a little bit of everything. For now, I'm going to start out just by getting rid of any anxiety and stress that I've been feeling, or at least tempering it a bit by doing some breathing exercises. So I'm gonna start by finding myself a comfortable sitting position. Going to just check in a little bit with what's going on with my body. That's gonna be a little bit different for everybody. As you breathe in, think about any tension that you might be holding in your neck or your head or your shoulders. And as you exhale, just let all of that tension go. Think about gravity pulling you down to the earth's surface. You're not going to fly away. We don't need to hold ourselves here. Gravity's doing all of that work for us. Letting our shoulders drop towards the ground. Thinking about letting our body really settle where we are. Take 5 deep breaths here. In through our nose and out through our mouth. Two more breaths. And last one. And if you're sitting and you're not in a chair, fantastic. If you are in a chair, maybe take this as an opportunity to pop out of your chair. We're going to start with doing some leg stretches. If you are not in a place where you can sit, that's okay. We can do this standing as well. If you're sitting, well, we'll start with sitting. If you're sitting, go ahead and just bring you're going to hinge at your hips. So just at your hips. You're going to hinge forward like this. And honestly, like this is about as far as you need to go. I'm going to rest my forearms on my legs and let my head relax. If you're standing, we're going to do this basically the same way. Leaning forward, hinging at the hips, and letting gravity take our upper bodies down. Now, you may not be able to touch your toes or the floor, and that's totally okay, because that's actually not our goal right here. Right here, we're just going to let gravity extend our spine, bringing some space in between each vertebrae. So I'm going to rest my forearms on the tops of my thighs and let gravity bring my head to the floor. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. If you have an opportunity to do this kind of movement at home, by yourself, unscheduled, I like to hold this position for at least a minute. Take 2 more breaths here. Relax your hands. Relax your forehead. One more breath here. And if you're standing, when we come back up, we're going to take it slow here. I use my hands to press up on my knees, and I'm going to come to this in-between standing and leaning forward position. In yoga, it's known as tabletop. You can have a completely flat tabletop here or like an angled one. I like to have a little bit of an angled one so that I'm getting that blood flow that was just all trapped in my head to head back down slowly so that I don't pass out. If you have low blood sugar, go ahead and slowly stand up or sit up if you're sitting. If you have low blood sugar or blood pressure, getting up from that position can be dizzy. So it's important to be careful. Sorry you're having some troubles, Creative Fit. If I lose you, I hope that I see you next time. Okay, now that we've gotten that done, you too, Creative Fit, see you around. We're going to loosen up our spines, moving from side to side. If you've been doing any static exercises like planking or something that's kind of static like push-ups, it's really good to get this extra movement from side to side in the spine. Create some length through those long back muscles that are really stabilizing. And after you've gone side to side, we're going to go back and forward, arching and extending. And as you extend your chest forward, go ahead and bring your chin up, creating some space through the front of your neck. And, you know, the speed that you take this at depends on you. So find a comfortable speed for yourself. It can be very, very slow. You can stop in one position and spend some time stretching that area out. Stretching is always for you and not for anyone else. So whatever I'm doing, if it works for you, great. And if it doesn't, take the speed that you want. And we're going to incorporate some neck rolls into this. I was doing some push-ups yesterday, and whenever I'm doing push-ups, I definitely feel a lot of tension through the front of my neck. So neck rolls are one of my favorite things to add into my stretching routine. It's just a very simple way to get that movement in our necks. And it's also a really great way to find out if you have something going on structurally. For example, if you're rolling your neck and you get to this point and your head doesn't want to move anymore, there's a good chance that you have a subluxation or a misalignment in your spine. If we very slowly work through our range of motion, turning our heads from side to side, and taking deep breaths, then sometimes we can get those things to reverse on their own. But it's very important to remember not to force any movement, and if you feel sharp shooting pains, to back off. Back off to a point where you feel the stretch, but that it isn't hurting. Do a couple more turns with our necks. Remember to keep your shoulders relaxed while doing this. Then we're going to bring our arms up overhead. Deep inhale. Exhale your arms forward. Here we're going to lace our fingers together, and again we're going to arch our backs like we were doing before. Really, really stretch your back backwards as far as you can, bringing your shoulders down. You can bring a little neck movement into this to get some stretching through the tops of your shoulders, bringing those shoulders down your back. And stretching as far as you can. And take a deep breath here. On your exhale, let it go. Stretch the opposite direction. If it's within your reach, literally and figuratively, go ahead and lace your fingers behind your back. Now that might look like this, where you have your elbows bent this way and your hands just laced behind your back. If that is all you've got, that's great. There's going to be a lot of really nice stretching happening right here through the front of your chest, through your pec muscles, and we really need to create that space. What I do here, and you can see I'm wearing a striped shirt too, so that probably helps a lot, is I'm rotating my shoulders backwards when I do this. So really bringing those shoulders back and then pushing them down towards the ground. If it's within your reach, you can straighten your hands here and really bring them down your back. That will get you a nice stretch through this top of your collarbone area and still continuing that stretch through the pecs. Take a deep breath here. And as you exhale, focus on bringing your hands towards the floor, shoulders down your back. We're going to stretch our necks in this position as well, so pick whichever side you'd like. Bring one ear to your shoulder while you're bringing your hands down towards the floor. Inhale, big breath in, and exhale, bring those shoulders down. We'll stay one more breath here with the neck. Slowly bring your head back to center and tilt to the opposite side. Inhale, big breath in. Exhale, let that stretch happen. Inhale, big breath in. Exhale. Do one more breath here. Exhale. Now go ahead and let your arms slowly go. That was a lot of time behind our backs. Not as much time as when we're at our computers, but good time. Get yourself some wiggles here. Bring your shoulders up, bring them around. Wiggle your upper body swing your upper body from side to side if that feels good for you. Just get some movement into that upper back. On your next twist, go ahead and grab your hips with both of your hands and bring your chin back towards your shoulder. We're going to take 3 breaths here. Drop your back shoulder towards the floor. Last breath here. Lean into that stretch on your exhale, and then let it go. Need another wiggle, go for it. Otherwise we're gonna go straight to the other side. Grab onto your leg and your hip with both of your hands. Drop that back shoulder towards the floor. Turn your chin towards that back shoulder and inhale. Spine straight. Exhale, let gravity take that shoulder down. Inhale. One more breath here. And let it go on the exhale. Nice work. Okay, we're going to go into one of my favorite stretches, but also one of the most daunting stretches that also requires a little bit of strength. If you have very tight hips from sitting for a long period of time, this is going to be very, very helpful. And then we're probably going to need a little bit of propping if you have a hard time getting into this position, which is totally normal. I don't have any yoga blocks anymore. So I'm going to get a few books and show you what I'm talking about. We're going to do a deep squat. I'm going to grab all of these books here that I have. And you can adjust the height of your book pile if you're using a book pile. If you do have yoga blocks, that's awesome. Go ahead and go grab them. I'm just going to set this up really quick so you can kind of see what's going on. Okay, so a deep squat. For a deep squat, we want to make sure that our legs are about hip width apart and that our toes are pointing outwards, a little bit like a duck. And we're just gonna sit down, just like, you know, if you were camping and you had to go to the bathroom in the woods. This is how you'd be sitting, right? And I don't know about you, but every time I go camping and have to go in the woods, I'm definitely super sore for a few days afterwards because I'm not used to doing it. Now, if this position is really hard for you to get into, no worries. We can work our way into it by having a few books around or yoga blocks or whatever it is that you can use to help support your hips while you're in this position. And really what you're doing is you're just giving yourself, like a little stool where you can sit right down and get your legs out in front of you. So if you're sitting down, that's awesome. Congratulations for getting into this position. It can be pretty tricky. And once you're here, really like shift your hips around just a little bit from side to side. I'll show you what I mean by that. And I'm here. I'm just like shifting my torso, and as I do that, I'm like stretching my leg away from my hip, like spreading my legs a little bit more, just to get some movement into those hip joints. And if you're sitting right here, go ahead and just hang out here. You can rest your arms on your knees and lean forward, however much is comfortable. If you don't like resting your arms on your knees or that doesn't feel good to you, you can just drape your arms in front of you, heading them towards the floor. And we're just going to lean forward in this position. We'll take 5 breaths here. Four more breaths. And as you're here, think about letting any tension in your hip joint go. And again, you know, if this is excruciating, it shouldn't be something that we're doing it to ourselves, right? It should definitely feel like a stretch, but it should be pretty comfortable. 2 more breaths here. Try and relax your calves and your feet. One more breath. And slowly come up on your exhale. So the thing about doing a stretch like this is we're really compressing the front of our bodies. And whenever we compress the front of our bodies, we want to do an opposite action. So in order to get out of this deep squat, if you feel like you're stuck, I like to bring one knee down. So here I am in my squat. I'm going to bring one knee down to the ground like this, and then my next knee follows, and I can just sit down on my front legs. If with my knees or my legs folded underneath me. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can definitely get your knee down and then get yourself into whatever position that you would like to do. We're actually going to create some space on the front of our legs now that we have compressed that section and stretched out our hips. If you are comfortable sitting with your legs folded underneath you, then you can do this stretch in this position. If not, you can have your legs straight in front of you. So straight in front, we're going to create some space. So we're going to bring our hands behind our bodies. If this is hard on your wrists, go ahead and keep a fist here so that you can keep your wrists straight. And then we're just going to bring our hips up. Doesn't have to be very far. Okay, we're just creating some space between our hips and our quads. If you've got your legs bent, you'll get a little bit more of a stretch, so you definitely want to make sure that it's feeling comfortable for you. I try to bring my belly button to my spine when I'm in this position to stabilize my lower back without, I don't want to create any pain in that section. And then if you're here, you can bring your head back, but we're not going to hold this for very long because it's a little bit hard on our arms. We're supporting our body's weight, so take a deep breath here. Definitely easier if you're in a legs tucked position. One more breath here. And let that go. And then if your legs are tucked, go ahead and swoop them out from underneath you. We're going to bring our legs right in front of us again if they were not already like that. And we're going to give the backs of our legs a little bit of love. Get some stretching through our hamstrings. So you can do this either with your legs completely together, or if you would like to have your legs in a V shape, go ahead and go for that. We're just going to lean forward here, kind of like we were doing when we were standing up. If you were sitting down and you had your legs together before, then let's go ahead and make a V. In fact, everybody should just make a V now if they can. And we are going to add a spinal twist into this stretch as well as something for our hamstrings. So we're going to pick which side we want to go to first. We're going to bring both of our hands down our leg. You can have it on your right above your knee or right below your knee. Try not to put any pressure directly on your knee though, like that's a joint. We want to protect it instead of pressing on it while we are stretching. And then we're going to bring our opposite shoulder open. We're going to open our chest towards the ceiling and bring our other hand to our sides. You can either bring it to your side, or if it's very comfortable for you, you can bend your elbow and just tuck your arm right behind you. So we're going to lean forward, stretch our chest open towards the ceiling, and bring that hand behind us, our other hand behind us. And here we're going to take a deep breath. And as you exhale, lean forward more, opening that chest. Three more breaths here. One more breath. On your exhales, or on your next inhale, slowly come up. And we'll switch right into the next side. Bring your other hand down your leg to whatever point is comfortable. Inhale, hinge your elbow, bring your hand behind your back, and open your chest towards the ceiling. 5 breaths here. Inhale, tuck your belly to your spine, belly button to your spine. Exhale, lean into the stretch. Two more breaths here. Last one. And on your next inhale, bring it back up to center. Okay, we're going to talk about feet a little bit, or talk about them for a second. Like I was saying earlier, we are on our feet often if we're grocery shopping or we work outside or we have children or the hundreds of millions of things that require feet or foot use. We stand on them a lot, and like I said, we don't give them very good attention. We have uncomfortable shoes, or well, we have uncomfortable shoes. That's a thing. There's lots of other reasons for having sore feet, but we want to give them a little bit of attention today. And one of the really cool things about feet is you can actually give them really good attention without even touching them. And I'm gonna sit up in a chair so that everybody can see a little bit better. A lot of, or most of the muscles that go into our feet are directly affected by what goes on in our legs, because a lot of those muscles actually start in our legs and head into our feet. So we're going to focus on mostly our calves today. Most people are aware of our beautiful Achilles tendon, made famous by that fantastic Greek tragedy of Achilles. And this gets really tight with any kind of physical activity. And if it goes unmanaged for a long period of time, then we can actually get things like plantar fasciitis, which is like, it's called first step pain. It's basically you like wake up in the morning, you step down on the ground, and it's excruciating in your foot and can send pain up the back of your leg. So we're going to talk about stretching that a little bit. So let's see. Dark background, and I'm wearing black leggings, so it's not very helpful. Here is my calf, okay? So I'm going to stretch it the way we were stretching our forearms a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to find this muscle and really wrap my fingers around it. And I can tell already that it needs stretched, because when I squeeze it, it's pretty sore. And so what I'm going to start doing is actually just squeezing that muscle. I'm going to get my fingers on both sides of the muscle, on the inside and the outside. You can see I've got my thumb on the inside and my fingers on the outside, and I'm going to squeeze it. And then as I squeeze it, I'm going to move my way down my leg. And we're just going to start out with that. If you find a spot that's extra sore, you can get your fingers in there. There isn't a lot in your calf that is going to get damaged if you're squeezing it, and it can be surprisingly sore. And then, as that starts to feel a little bit better and you feel like maybe you need more, maybe you don't, but if you need more, we can add to this stretch by flexing and extending our foot. So like we did with our arms, we're going to squeeze the muscle, keep our foot nice and relaxed, and then when we squeeze, we're going to flex our foot. And that's a pin and stretch. And we're going to work our way down our leg as we do this. Pin, stretch. Pin, stretch. As you get down into your ankle, it's a little bit harder to grab on. The muscles get really dense, and there tends to be less to hold on to in this area. But just do your best. If you want to add a circle movement into your pin and stretch, you definitely can, to get some space into that ankle. This kind of thing is really good to do if you have sprained an ankle previously, just giving those muscles some extra attention. And after we've done that, we're going to focus on another very sore muscle for a lot of people, called your peroneus longus, that actually runs all the way down the side of your leg right here and into the front of into the top of your foot, and it wraps around through your ankle and into the arch of your foot. So if you're getting arch pain, this muscle can definitely be the culprit. And we're going to do a similar thing here, a similar pin and stretch situation. I can't grab this muscle very well with my hands, so I like to take my palm and place it right over the front of my leg. I'm going to find my kneecap and go right underneath there. And if you stick your fingers off to the side, you'll feel there's a groove just on the outside of your shin bone. You're going to get your fingers in there, and then go ahead and wiggle them around. Really press into that muscle. You'll feel there's some tension in there. If you feel something that feels like a rubber band, like fully taut rubber band, you can get your fingers onto that muscle and just press into it. Give it some attention, some little reminders that doesn't have to be quite so tight. And if you found a really, really tight spot, then what you can do is press on it. And then we're gonna do lateral flexion. Pretty sure this is called lateral flexion. So you're gonna keep your fingers on that spot and then turn your toes in towards your midline, giving a little pin and stretch. You can work yourself down your whole leg doing this, or you can add in your circles because you're still getting that lateral flexion and extension. And when that feels really good, I like to give my leg a nice, like, dough kneading, just to bring some blood flow back into that area. When we're pressing into our muscles, we're pressing the blood out of them, which is fine in the short term, but if we do it really hard or for an extended period of time, then it can make our muscles really sore. So it's good to give them a nice kneading afterwards to get that blood flow back in. And then we're gonna go on to our other leg. Same thing. Let's start to work on our calf first. However you have your leg when you do this is fine. I personally am able to put my foot on my other leg, so I do that so that I have better access. If you're on the floor, fantastic, like you've got a built-in stand for your leg. But let's go ahead and get into our calves here. Go ahead and just give them some nice squeezes starting out. Work your way all the way down that leg. And then when that feels really good for you, find a sore spot, pin it, and give yourself a little stretch. Working your way down until you get to that Achilles tendon. And when that feels really good to you, let's go ahead and move into that peroneus longus. So again, bring your hand across your leg. I'm cupping my shin with my hand here. And then find that trench of sorts that has that taut rubber band inside it. Get your fingers in there. Just press. You can move circles with your fingers in that area. You can also grab on the other side of that rubber band and strum your fingers across it. That may not be super comfortable for you to do. Some people really like that and some people really don't. So find whatever works for you best in this situation. And then, if you're needing some pinning and stretching, go ahead and get your fingers in there. Press pretty hard so that that muscle is stretching while you're moving your foot in circles or just in and out. And when that feels really good for you, go ahead and let it go. You just stretched your calves. That's awesome. All right. That is going to be our stretching for today. So thank you so much for coming. I'm going to run through like a couple minute like decompression breathing. If you want to drop what worked well for you in the comments, let me know, or what was hard for you, or if you need modifications for any of those stretches that we did today, let me know, and I can definitely give you some good information about that. Thank you so much for coming today. Please follow if you liked, and share it if you liked. This is definitely something that can be helpful for anybody who sits in front of a screen, not just a streamer. And I'm here Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Thank you so much for following. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to breathe for a minute or two, work on some of that extra decompression. One of the nice things about breathing after stretching is it helps our body integrate all of that nice relaxation that we just gave ourselves. So let's do that. So find a comfortable seat. If you want to close your eyes, go for it. I definitely encourage that, especially if you're by yourself and it feels really safe for you. And when I'm breathing, I like to take a deep breath in through my nose and exhale through my mouth. My goal is to fill my belly with as much air as possible and exhale as much of it as possible. Here we go. In through your nose and exhale. We're going to do a little box breathing. So we're going to count in for 8 as we inhale, and we're going to count out for 8 as we exhale. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on your own. Remind your shoulders to relax, to drop towards the floor. If you're sitting in a chair, pay attention to your quadriceps, your upper legs. Let them relax. Feel your feet on the floor if they're on the floor. Feel your ankles attached to your calves attached to your knees. Your knees attached to your upper legs. Notice any tension that might be in them. And as you exhale, imagine all of that tension going into the earth below you to be filtered with the rain. Feel your legs attached to your hips. Notice any tension in your hips. Let it go on your exhale. Bring your attention to your spine. Feel the back of your spine and your back. Is your back touching something? What does it feel like? Feel the sides of your torso and the front. Feel your abdominal area as one piece connected to your hips. Connected to your shoulders. Let your shoulders either sink into the ground if you're laying down, or head towards the earth if you're sitting up. Let gravity take them. And notice your arms attached to your shoulders. Let them rest comfortably on whatever they are on. Relax your hands and your fingers, your thumbs. Bring your attention from your fingers up your arms to your shoulders, to the base of your neck. Think about letting all those muscles in your neck relax, starting at the bottom and working your way up one vertebrae at a time until the base of your head. Breathe here. Imagine that your head isn't going to fall off your body. Imagine that it's safe and sound right there at the top of your spine. Feel your jaw. Allow your mouth to relax and open. Feel your cheeks and any tension they may have from any expressions that you have to make through the day, like smiling or frowning. Let all of that go. Notice how your eyes are feeling and your eyelids. Relax your eyes. Let them sink into their sockets. And lastly, your head. Notice how your scalp feels. Is there any tension in the side of your head or the top or the back? As you inhale, imagine gathering all of that tension up. And exhale it out of your body. And as we relax into our bodies here, feel your body as one piece, housing you, working hard for you. And if you can, send it a little gratefulness. Even when our bodies are hurting, they do so much for us. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale. And as we breathe here, bring our awareness to our surroundings. What is the temperature like? How does the air feel against your skin? Really feel the air on your skin. And notice the sounds that are in the rooms that we're in. Or if you're outside, notice the sounds of outside. Allow them to pass over you. Acknowledge them. And let them go. And as you feel the air around you and hear the sounds around you, bring your attention back to your fingers and your toes and give them a little wiggle. We're going to bring our awareness back to where we are. And give your hands a little movement. Keep your deep breaths coming. And as we come back to where we are, sitting where we are right now, in our living rooms, outside, our bedrooms, wherever we are, remember that this moment of peacefulness that we just experienced can be found inside us whenever we choose to look for it. And that's the hard part, is looking for it in our moments of stress. If we always come back to our breath, then we can find it again. So, whenever you're feeling any stress this week, come back to that breath, come back to that moment of peacefulness that we just had. And thank you. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for coming again in the future. And your body thanks you as well. Again, I'm here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Please follow if you enjoyed this. I'll try to be here at 11 on the button every time, and we'll stay for an hour or so. If you ever have anything that you want me to focus on in these stretching sessions, you're welcome to drop them in the chat. I have a suggestion box on my page, and you can drop what's going on with you in that suggestion box, and I can address it at our next stretching session. Thank you so much for coming today, and I hope you have a wonderful week.